Girls Gone Wild, yeah. Do you like that?
I watched that. But I don't buy
The way
the
you
tapes.
say it, too. You don't buy the tape. I watched that, yeah.
There is a moment in almost every Christopher Walken interview where the other person stops talking. Not because they ran out of things to say, because something about the man across from them made them forget what they were going to say next. This has been happening for 50 years, and nobody has ever been able to fully explain why. Christopher Walken is one of the most studied, imitated, and analyzed performers in Hollywood history. Everyone knows the voice. Everyone knows the pauses. Everyone knows the eyes. But nobody can read him. And today we're going to find out why.
Planning ahead. After the show, I'm going to a Chinese restaurant. So I'm thinking about beef and broccoli.
Right now, that's what you're thinking about.
Well, no, in addition to other
No, I'm
things,
sure that's what you're thinking about right now.
Water chestnuts.
Yeah, water chestnuts. Wow, this sounds delicious.
There is a concept in psychology called ambiguity tolerance, the ability to sit comfortably in situations where the outcome is unclear. Most people have very low ambiguity tolerance. When they can't predict what's coming next, they get uncomfortable. They fill silence. They over-explain. They reach for control. Christopher Walken weaponizes ambiguity. Every pause, every unexpected word choice, every moment where he goes somewhere you didn't expect. These aren't accidents. They're the signature of a man who figured out decades ago that unpredictability is the most powerful social tool in existence. You cannot prepare for someone you cannot predict. Watch any Walken interview and count how many times the host laughs nervously. Not genuinely, nervously. That laugh is the sound of someone who doesn't know what's coming next and is trying to fill the space with something familiar. Walken never fills that space. He owns it.
Sure, I do.
Yeah.
But no, it's the only thing I do. I don't have kids. I don't have hobbies. I don't like to travel. I like to go to work.
Which entails a lot of traveling.
I go and I stay there until it's done and I come back.
So what makes you, when you're home, not working and in the house, want to cook? What is this thing that made you think I can do this?
Well, it's interesting. It's like having a hobby and then you get to eat it. You know, I could be
And
a
there's
writer.
no evidence. If it's a failure, you've eaten it.
I could be a writer, I could be a painter, I could do a lot of things, play tennis, dirt biking, but you get to eat it, and you know what's in it, and also exercising. I get on the treadmill and I watch Charlie Rose.
You loved Elvis. You once wrote and starred in a play about Elvis Presley, right? You have a thing.
There is a term in performance psychology called pattern interruption, the deliberate breaking of expected social rhythms to capture and hold attention. Comedians use it. Negotiators use it. Therapists use it. Christopher Walken has been doing it naturally since before most of us were born. His speech pattern alone is a masterclass in pattern interruption. The pauses land in places where no pause should logically exist. The emphasis falls on words that shouldn't carry emphasis. A sentence that should end in 3 words takes 7. A story that should take 30 seconds takes 3 minutes. And you cannot look away. This isn't an affectation. This isn't a bit. This is how Christopher Walken actually thinks. And that's what makes it impossible to read. You can spot a performance. You cannot spot authenticity that happens to be deeply unusual.
Get 'em hot, show 'em what I've got. Hello, children. Are you sitting comfortably? Then I'll begin. Once upon a time, there were 3 little pigs, and they each decided to build themselves a house. Now, the first little piggy was a very lazy little piggy, and he built his house from straw. The second little piggy was not too bright either, and he built his house from twigs. But the third little piggy was smart. He was no Dunsky. He built his house from bricks. Smart piggy. Oink, oink. Anyway, in the same village, there was a wolf. This big wolf. Bad wolf. Big bad wolf. Get the picture? Also, this wolf, he loved pork.
Here's what almost nobody talks about when they talk about Christopher Walken. He was a child performer. He was on television and stage before he was 10 years old. He spent his entire childhood in professional entertainment, not playing, not in school in the normal sense, but working, performing, reading rooms, understanding what held attention and what lost it. By the time most people are learning how to navigate social situations, Christopher Walken had already spent a decade studying what makes people watch. He didn't develop his presence in acting school. He developed it surviving childhood in show business.
When that man walked in, the way he wore his hat and his coat, and still I walked out. And I walked all the way home. And I was thinking, look, Chris, you get all A's with one hand tied behind your back. You got 3 scholarships offered you. You can take your choice of 3 different vocations. And you don't care which one you do.
I bet he didn't even fight back.
Who?
Your friend.
35.
I'm 37.
First of all, that's an incredible piece of work. Dorian Gray Tomorrow, I think you played. I think that the first one I saw you in was Best Foot Forward with Liza Minnelli.
That's right.
Ever worked with her again since then?
No, that was her debut.
And yours together?
That's right.
Were you protective towards her?
No, she was fantastic. She became very famous right away. And
are you glad it took a little longer for you?
well, I'm not sure I am famous yet, but
Well, we're working on it.
we're working on it.
BBC Two has your interest at heart. Then you went on to do another. We worked with an largely English cast. You did a musical of High Spirits with Beatrice Lillie and Edward Woodward, who's famous here, in fact.
That's right. I did that, and I did a musical based on Sherlock Holmes.
There is a psychological concept called dissociative charisma, where someone's inner world operates on a frequency so different from the people around them that they project an almost otherworldly quality in social situations. Not because they're trying to be different, because they genuinely are. Most people who meet Christopher Walken describe the same thing. A feeling that he is both completely present and somewhere else entirely at the same time. That his attention is fully on you, but his mind is processing something you don't have access to. That combination, full presence plus interior mystery, is what the brain cannot resolve. And what the brain cannot resolve, it cannot look away from. Watch the way people react when Walken tells a story. They lean forward. They get very still. Not because the story is always extraordinary. Sometimes it's about his cat, or a sandwich, or something completely mundane.
Now, Wedding Crashers, I would think it would be fun. We've had him here many times, and I think all of the world is captivated by Christopher Walken. And you had these scenes with Christopher Walken in Wedding Crashers, and I got to think that, as an actor, that's got to be a dream come true, right?
Yeah, no question about it. I mean, I was just a huge fan of his, and he's an amazing guy, too, by the way. I mean, he's like the most authentic guy. I mean, he is what you think he is, which is
Right.
a different thing for a lot of people. But,
Right.
But one particular thing was, I was very intimidated by him, too, by the way. Because he's not the normal guy who's like, hey, how you doing? It's not like that. He just sort of sits there in the makeup chair and he's like, pineapple. I like to eat it. And I'm like,
I can't get enough.
everybody's gonna walk in. Everybody's
They lean forward because they don't know where it's going. And the moment you don't know where something is going, you have to find out. That is Christopher Walken's superpower. He makes the mundane feel like it could become anything. And in a world where everything is predictable, everything is optimized, everything is designed to be immediately understood and immediately forgotten, a man who cannot be predicted is almost impossible to ignore. Walken once said in an interview, and I want you to think about this, I have a face that is a cross between 2 pounds of halibut and an energy-efficient bulb. That is not a joke. That is a man who sees himself so clearly, so without ego, so without the need for your approval, that he can describe his own face like a grocery list and make it the most compelling thing you've heard all week. That's the final piece of the puzzle. Christopher Walken doesn't need you to understand him. And the people who don't need to be understood are always the most fascinating people in the room. If video 1 was about a man who draws people in with warmth, this one is about a man who draws people in with mystery. 2 completely different mechanisms. The same result. Next video we're going inside the psychology of someone whose power comes from neither warmth nor mystery, but from something far more primal. You already know who it is.